This is it. 17 races of the championship, and it all comes down to this, the final round, and the championship's still wide open between Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. Last season saw complete FJR domination. We're unlikely to see that this year. They've been struggling with reliability. Q1 saw Mitchell, Exelite and SF1 fail to make it through. It's particularly disappointing for Mitchell, as this is Alexander Wertz's last race. The Austrian's been with the team for 5 seasons in a row now. Ever since 2003, he's been a strong part of Mitchell. And this is Q2 as we look on board Lewis Hamilton. 10 points behind Sebastian Vettel, but he can still do it if he wins and Vettel finishes 8th or lower. Even though it's the end of the season, there is still news going on, and in the news for this race, the AFIA have included more technologies alongside the other 3 that were introduced for the own car. They've introduced the engine cover shark fin and the aerodynamic wheel covers. The aim of those 2 is to increase the downforce. Although the engine cover shark fin will increase the drag and therefore lose top speed. But the teams can research this to stop them from losing the power on the straight. Lewis Hamilton getting balked on his flying lap. As a result, he only goes 5th. Also in the technology news, the technology KERS kinetic energy recovery system will be researchable for 2008 but unraceable. The technology will become raceable in 2009. And also the FF1M Asia series is now underway. The first race at Fuji, the feature in the sprint, saw Adrian Zaug and Karun Chandok winning. Zaug racing for the brand new team, SRJR or GRJR, whichever name will be used for that team, and Chandok racing for SF1 Junior. So the 2 newest teams in FF2M have won races. Let's hope for their sake they can repeat that feat in FF1M, but SF1 won't be doing that as he's failed to qualify for this race. And it's the last races of their careers for Ralf Schumacher, Alexander Wertz and Ricardo Zonta. Other drivers are under threat for seats, but including Tony Eliuzzi, but Ralf, Wertz and Zonta have all confirmed that this will be their last race. Could Ralf repeat the feat that his older brother did last season and completely dominate the event? He is through in this race, but that's looking quite unlikely, despite his very well achieved 4th place in the Singapore race. Wertz, as I've mentioned, has failed to qualify for this race, and Ricardo Zonta, he's qualified well, but his race performance has been slow. Meanwhile, Kimi Raikkonen's just gone 3rd quickest, as Sebastian Vettel is the fastest man on the track at the moment. Here's Robert Kubica. He'll be looking for a good qualifying performance, and 4th place will help. Bourdais goes 10th, and Glock goes 10th, beating Bourdais down to 11th. Here's a Heikki Kovalainen for AJ, who qualified again for this race, much like they did in Fuji, and they raced well before Kovalainen's engine went. Hamilton there, only 4 thousandths behind Vettel. But it's this twisty second sector that makes all the difference in this lap. Down Pinerino, the left-hand hairpin, before coming up to a right-hand hairpin, the Vico de Pato, roughly translated as the duck's bill, or the duck's beak. Hamilton still very close right behind Vettel, he's only a quarter of a tenth behind. Now it's the drag up the hill where engine power is key. He crosses the line. He does it! He goes fastest by a tenth a hundredth of a second. Meanwhile, here's Nelson Piquet Jr. He's about to cross the line. What can he do? He goes 4th quickest. That's a superb effort for Nelson Piquet Jr. He's the reigning FF1M champion, of course. He drove for the Liquid Target team. And Cleon, only 18th. That's not a great effort. Ricardo Zonta, he needs a great result in front of his home crowd in his swan song race. And he's in the top 10. Now Adam Carroll goes 16th, but he's only a second behind Vettel. This is a close grid, and Jenson Button is the fastest man on the track. Through the second sector, he's quicker even than Lewis Hamilton. And Jenson Button crosses the line. He does it, he goes fastest for Shannon. But of course, historically, Shannons do qualify well, but race a bit less emphatically, as Kubica goes 5th quickest. Singapore was the exception for Shannon, as Button raced well. But Hamilton goes fastest. He beats Jenson's time. Alonso only 18th. This is his last race for Pedersen before he moves to FJR. Alongside Nico Rosberg, who will enter his 3rd year in his 3-year contract. Nico will certainly be hoping for better reliability. As Cleon goes 13th now, he's improved his position. He's still a long way behind Kubica, his teammate. This is of course Ski Racing's home Grand Prix, as they are based in Brazil. And they've won this race a couple of times. Ralf Schumacher has won this race for them. Now Vettel. He's slightly slower than Hamilton, but he's improved in his own sector times. Rounding the bowed grandstands. He goes fastest. Vettel beats Hamilton's time to go quickest. And this is Jenson Button. He was a 10th up already at the first sector. Button is charged up for this session. He's certainly a pole contender as he rounds Larantia. And then Pinarino accelerates his Shannon with the Renault power plant in the back. Down Mergula. And then Junkao. And half a second up. Half a second. Button, he's driving like a stabbed bat. Just absolutely flying. And this will be pole position, no doubt about it. But how far ahead? He maintains that half a second to go fastest. By a long way. Ricardo Zonta, a second down at the second sector, but he's improved his own sector times. Rounding the last corner, which isn't really a corner. Zonta goes 9th, so he's in the top 10 in front of his home Grand Prix. Now Vettel, what can you do to beat Jenson Button's storming lap time? He's just about a 10th slower in the first sector. Round the Ferradura, the original Interlagos, which was a huge distance around, it was about 5 miles long. The original Ferradura was in the shape of a horseshoe. Now it looks like the edges have been pulled apart a little bit, but it's still called the horseshoe. But into the second sector point, and Vettel is half a second down. That Shannon really was hooked up on that lap. It's working well at this track. But Vettel looks like he can cement second place. And he doesn't even improve on that lap. So Kubica, in his team's home Grand Prix, what can he do on this lap? 4th quickest. Robert Kubica goes 4th. As As we look at the starting grid for this race, Jenson Button dominated that qualifying session by going half a second quicker than Sebastian Vettel. But how will the Shannon's race pace compare to its qualifying pace? Lewis Hamilton needs to win if he's to stand any chance to winning the championship, and he is third at the moment. But Liuzzi started in that position last season and was down not even in the top 8 at the end of that lap. Kubica 4th, Piquet, fantastic effort to go 5th. Liuzzi proving Shannon's pace by qualifying in the top 10. Pedersen, not a very good qualifying session for them, they're down at row 10. And Ralf Schumacher in his last race, down in 21st ahead of Kovalainen. So this is it. 5 lights are on at this championship battle. And the 5 lights are out. Has Button got away well? No, he hasn't. Vettel's taken the lead and Hamilton takes second. But Button's hanging on round the outside. But Vettel leads. Very important if he's to win a championship. And Pantano is out of the race already. He started down in 12th place. And Hamilton's second. He's got past Button. But Jenson's still right behind him. Hamilton is going to be under pressure into the Ferradura curve. But Vettel has got a huge lead. We've seen reliability problems for Vettel before, but Hamilton has the more fragile car, so anything can happen in this race still. As meanwhile Rosberg has regained a position at the expense of Kimi Raikkonen. Marc Gené's had a great start as well, he's up to 8th place. Now the Constructors' battle has been decided already, but the battle for second in the Constructors is still wide open. Shake and Make do have a good chance at taking second place, but only if Hamilton can win. As Vettel leads at the end of the first lap. And Robert Kubica is taking 3rd place from Jenson Button. Kubica up to 3rd at the Senna S. Vettel's lead 2.2 seconds. And Nelson Piquet is going to take 4th place from Button as well. Piquet up to 4th, so Jenson Button, as I half suspected, is struggling in the race. Meanwhile, this is what happened at the start with Giorgio Pantano. He got a good launch. Liuzzi didn't. Sort of blocked him a little bit, and it was Klein that hit Pantano and he's rolled upside down. And rolled back over with no wheels on his wagon. So Klein effectively took Pantano out. There was a couple of races where Klein took out Pantano's teammate Mark Webber, and now he's got the other one. Now you can see the start from onboard Hamilton's perspective. He didn't do a Liuzzi last season, but Vettel quite clearly having the better launch. And there was Hamilton around the outside of Jenson Button there. Sorry, on the inside at that corner. Moving up into second. And this is start from Heikki Kovalainen's perspective. Starting in last place, and he got away very well. He's overtook Ralph and the 2 Pedersens, but the Pedersen coming back there, and there you can see Pantano rolling, and that was a Dodgem spinning facing the wrong way. That was Sebastian Bourdais. Sebastian Bourdais was facing the wrong way there. So a good replay from onboard Kovalainen, and he's alongside somebody for 14th place. He's getting 8 positions on that lap. He's right behind in Andy Racing. He's got away well as well. Meanwhile, Pedro de la Rosa is battling with Liuzzi for 10th place, and he's taking that on the inside into turn 4. The Descida de Lago curve, Lake Descent. Kovalainen on the move again. This is the Andy Racing that he's challenging. Into turn 1, and he storms up the inside of Adam Carroll, I think. It wasn't an orange helmet, so it must have been Adam Carroll. Klein moves at position at the expense of Liuzzi now. Both Shannon struggling. And this is Kubica taking second place from Hamilton, isn't it? No, it's not. It's clean on De La Rosa. Kubica, in fact, 1.6 seconds behind Lewis. We're on board with a tornado here. Right behind, it must be Webber and Kovalainen because PK is well up in 4th place. So Webber is challenging Kovalainen for 13th place, I believe. But that AJ is a very good, powerful engine, if a little fragile, as Hamilton sets the fastest lap. He's looking to make a charge in on Sebastian Vettel. And contact between Webber and Kovalainen! As Kovalainen skids off the track, he'll rejoin, hopefully. And Webber trying the inside line, but there wasn't enough room there. I think, Mark, you were being a bit too ambitious. And there's another collision. That was Webber and Andy racing. And Kovalainen skid, doing his engine no good whatsoever, as Kubica now sets the fastest lap. He's closing in on Hamilton, who himself is closing in on Vettel. Heikki Kovalainen, engine failure there on the pit straight, so at least you've not got far to walk. So anyway, this is Lewis Hamilton making a pit stop from 2nd place on lap 22. Lap 22 or 21. It's always confusing the top of the graphic, but we know it's around that area. It's pit stop 9.1 seconds. So let's see how his race pans out from there. Hamilton rejoins the track at this very long pit exit. In the past it used to be a long pit entrance, but now they've reversed that and he's rejoined in 7th. He's up to 6th now. Kubica is flying on the track though, on lap 25. That Guy Racing's got very good race pace, and that's Pedro de la Rosa, who is facing the wrong way at the pit straight. So it's an odd place to go off, but clearly his gearbox is seized up and has spun him off. This is Vettel lapping traffic. That will be Ricardo Zonta. Where's Nico Rosberg gone? He's not in the top 8. I wonder if he's made a pit stop. Meanwhile, PK's made a pit stop as well, and he's still in the top 8. Vettel in the pits now. As he slows down for the speed limiter. So he's pitted 6 laps later than Hamilton. As he squeezes into his pit box as Ralf Schumacher pits as well. How long is Vettel's pit stop? It's a lot longer than Hamilton's, it's 12 seconds. So it makes me wonder if Hamilton is trying a 3-stop strategy rather than the conventional 2 that Vettel's using. Is this shake and bake's way of trying to win the race? They could be throwing the dice here as Vettel rejoins the track. Now where's he rejoins? Behind Genet. So he's not far ahead of Hamilton, who is lapping Ralf Schumacher. Ralf Schumacher rejoined from his pit stop as well. Rosberg is still in the race, so he must have just made a pit stop. Meanwhile, this is Kubica pitting. He's got a real chance of taking the lead here if he stayed out longer than Vettel. So that Guy Racing is performing superbly. Into his pit box. Vettel's was 12 seconds and Kubica's is 11. This is going to be very close as Kubica exits the pits. Don't forget Hamilton's will probably be closing in on Vettel as well due to a lighter fuel load. As Kubica rejoins, there's Vettel. Where's Kubica? I think Kubica's rejoined ahead of Vettel. I think that is him there. Yes. Kubica takes what will be an effective lead as Hamilton pits for his second time. It's quite early. So I don't think his strategy is working out as planned. He will have to pit again. There's 38 laps to go. This pit stop, 11.2. Long pit stop anyway, but I'm sure he has to pit again. Now, where will he rejoin? I can hear an engine alongside. He's rejoined ahead of Clean, so he's 6th place. But Clean, not having any of it, and he's taken that position into Ferradero, or at least challenging it. But Hamilton holds on. So there was 36 laps to go, not 38. Meanwhile, Kubica leads ahead of Vettel. Button is running now in 3rd place, ahead of PK 4th. Giner 5th, Hamilton 6th. Clean right behind Lewis in 7th place as Kimi Raikkonen rounds out the top 8. Now is Clean closing in on the slipstream here? Love to go on board. No, he's not. So Hamilton has the grunt to hold on in front of Clean. Now Lewis can push. Yeah, he's pulling away from Clean now. Mark Webber now, challenging an FJR. That's Nico Rosberg, I think. So Rosberg's race is not going very well at all. It's not even in top 10 as we saw Mark Webber is in 13th, I think. But the Tornado is clearly the quicker car, and he looks to get alongside Rosberg. Into turn 4, and he's done it. Webber up to 12th place. As we look at Jenson Button closing on a Sebastian Vettel. This could be interesting. Here's Shannon's are coming on stronger as the race goes on. As the track rubbers in, Jenson Button's getting better grip. I think Vettel is behind some traffic though. This long shot should tell us, yeah, he's coming up to an MRD. Even so, Button taking 1 and a bit tenths out of the first sector on Vettel. 30 laps to go. As this traffic is allowing Robert Kubica to get away here. Just before the race, Shake and Make boss Courtney Cass resigned himself to second in the championship after the qualifying session. And 3rd in the Constructors' Championship as well. And judging by Hamilton's strategy at the moment, that looked to be the right call. But you never know what's going to happen with 30 laps to go. 11th place Neil Yarny pits. Vettel's right behind that MRD, but he can't get past him. He did pull out a 10th on Jenson though, that was probably slipstream aided. But still, Sebastian cannot get past the MRD. He does now. And he's pulled out another 10th on Jenson, so nothing major for Sebastian, just drive calmly in 2nd place. As Jenson now laps the MRD. Rounding turn 3. The gap remaining at 1.5 seconds. So Vettel's quicker at the first and second sector, but Jensen closing in on the second sector. If he can get close enough, the second sector is the important sector here. If Jensen can get close enough, he might be able to have a go at Sebastian Vettel. But now Vettel is in the slipstream of an FJR. I think it's Zonta. And there's another 10th pulled out on Jensen. So there's a bit of a pattern emerging. Into turn 4, Vettel pulls out of BMW FJR slipstream as Nelson Piquet pits from 4th place. And that's Kimi Raikkonen gone from 8th place. Out on lap 60 with a suspension problem. Robert Kubica leads. This is the final lap now. He's pulled out some 22 seconds on Vettel. Vettel himself has stabilised the gap between him and Jensen. This is rounding the final corner. Seems whatever happens now, Vettel will become world champion. Hamilton's a minute behind Robert Kubica. Guy Racing take a win in front of their home Grand Prix. Robert Kubica wins. Superb performance from him. A strategy that worked. But here is the new world champion. Whatever happens now, Vettel crosses the line to take Dark Wolf's first championship since 2003. Vettel does it. Jensen Button comes home 3rd place. Hamilton comes home in 4th. Clean takes 5th, and that will show cement Guy Racing's 2nd position in the championship. Genet takes 6th, Liuzzi takes 7th, and Nelson Piquet gets points for AJ. And if I'm right in saying, that means that all 14 teams have scored points this season. There's Vettel, 13 points ahead of Hamilton. Kubica, 4 race wins. Takes 3rd. Antonov 4th, Rosberg 5th. Top 5 all won races, but Rosberg's season never really kicked off after Australia, after his win. Dark Wolf win the Constructors, Guy Racing 2nd. Shake and Make 3rd, Tornado 4th. FJR 5th, and I believe they have to pre-qualify next season because the top 4 don't. And that's a review of the season. Rosberg's 2 poles at the start, only 1 win altogether at the season's end, and you can see the run of yellow there as Hamilton won 4 races in a row. But his retirement in Singapore in the end did not cost him the championship. It was reliability that cost him the championship in the end. That's it for 2007. We'll see you next year. The red lights are on, 58 laps, and it's go! Teammate to lap him, and he's touched him. Vettel spins! Vettel spins! Can he avoid the barrier? Yes, he can. What an amazing turn of events there. And there's contact, and Rosberg spins. Lewis Hamilton takes Shake and Bake's first official win. Dream has a look on the inside. He's never really alongside, but Yanni goes flying. inside into first corner. There's a collision. Vettel has been collided. And there's a big accident. That's De La Rosa's car. Well, he ran a bit wide then, and they're off. Vettel spins, and Hamilton rams into him. Kubica off as well. That's slipstream, and Vettel is back on the inside of Buemi. They're both going to run wide, and Buemi hits Hamilton. Potential chance to overtake as well. And is he trying up the inside? Yes, he is, and Hamilton takes the lead. Back marker there. Going to Ravage, he's going too quick, he's going to run off the track. Vettel's off the track. He's lost a wheel, he's out from second place. Sebastian Vettel, you didn't need to do that. The first corner, and Hamilton, and that's Gené's hit Vettel into a spin. It's Vettel's teammate slammed into the German, and he's stuck on the track. Goes Hamilton to take his 4th win in a row and his 6th of the season. Hamilton storming through the championship. And Vettel's engine's gone. Sebastian Vettel's engine's blown up. And Lewis Hamilton's engine's blown up. So the chance to gain a load of points in Vettel has gone up in smoke. Goes to the outside, but then he goes to the outside again, but then he dummies him on the inside, and Pantano takes the lead. Gets it round to the corner, and Tornado take a superb win for Pantano. Vettel crosses the line to take Dartwool's first championship since 2003. Vettel does it.